All right, let's see if we can get a signal to the Bat Cave. And we are live. Hello and good morning, everybody. And welcome back to another edition of the Jedi Academy, the stream we do every Saturday morning at this time, where we hang out with you wonderful and amazing folks and do nothing but answer your questions in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game brought to you by Capital Games. I'm your man with the Plan Ranger J1999, and we'll have a bunch of content creators, I hope, join us, but we do have one right now, and that'd be the Sandfly, the biggest Sandfly of all the Sandfly.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Exciting week. A lot to talk about.
And I'm sure we will get into it. Now, if you're new to the show and wondering what this is, it's a straight Q&A show. We have content creators come on, and if you have a question for myself or all the content creators or maybe one in particular, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, if you have a question, put it in the chat. Please put the word question in front of your actual question statement so I can identify your question easier, especially when we get a lot of people in there. I want to ask questions. Good morning, Contingent 33. You crazy bastard last night, making me do the worm and other things on the Behind You stream. And good morning to Jason Hobby. He says, work to the mothership. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello to Helen XO. There's the Greek geek is hanging out. Oh boy. So yeah, if you get your questions in and make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, think about becoming a Patreon, all that stuff. And that's pretty much that's all we do here. We're just gonna hang out for a little bit and then do stuff. Yeah, last night was Chaos Incarnate again, as we did the Behind You stream. We cut a video that should be out today. I ranted. I just, this stuff with the new ship, man. I think the ship's great. I mean, that's not my issue. It's like the kit looks good and stuff, but what are we doing over there, CG? Can you just test stuff a little bit before you put it out, man? This is getting really, getting old. It is, I mean, and I have a little bit more leeway with characters because it's just a vast majority of, stuff that you can miss with a character. These are ships, baby. And even characters I don't have, like Treya. Just test against Lord Vader, not asking much, see how that interaction works, a few times before you put something out. Same thing with the TIE Defender, which is a hell of a lot easier because there's only so many fleets. I know there's only 60 ships total, and that's including the 9 capital. I mean, this isn't a hard ask, just make sure it, 95% works, not this crazy thing where it can do something because you guys didn't think about it or test it. Drives me nuts.
And they only have 2 teams you actually care about in Profundity and Executor. They don't care if it beats Admiral Akbar or,
I know.
It's not even like it's like they only need to test against those 2. Quite unbelievable. It's going to be quite a thing.
It's mind-boggling, dude. I went crazy last night about it. I was like, you got to be kidding me on this stuff, man. Especially when you have people doing the Galactic Chase and, we're spending crystals to get it, which I like the drop rate. I mean, I've already got the ship 4 stars, and I'll get 5 stars today probably, which I'm fine for. And the ship looks great. I don't have a problem with the kit. I just want the damn thing to work, It
works, like I say. So, I mean, even
not doing what it's doing, when I say work, not doing that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? If that's not your intention, then test it so we don't have to worry about this.
I mean, it's going to be a great ship no matter what they do with it. Anything that comes off the bench with an irresistible stun is actually going to end up being like a hound's tooth. Even if it doesn't go on an executor or a Thrawn or anything, it's going to end up being in a fleet somewhere just because of that irresistible kind of stun coming off the bench. It's a very good ship.
It's a very good ship. I just looked at that. I watched a little bit of Fatal stuff, but I watched Arnold's video, and then I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I looked at the forums, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like that instantly, like, wow. Okay, it's...
Yeah, I watched them. So after I unlocked Go Cubs...
Yeah, you were doing some testing, yeah.
Yeah, I was testing, but then Go Cubs had done some and posted a video in our Discord channel. And he was running it under Executor and getting pretty good win rates, and at that point you were like, hang on. No, he was running under Thrawn and he was getting really good hit rates, and you're like, oh, hang on, there's something suspicious here. Yeah. But when you read it, it makes sense. That amount of TM gain. I mean, we kind of know they're just going to eliminate Thrawn's ship from the the TM game, but considering how all the controversy about this actually being designed by Thrawn, it should really be under Thrawn in the first place. They're actually then going to nerf it against specifically the one place that people want it for a lower point of view. But
yeah.
yeah.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Phil Reagan. Says hello, Ranger Sandfly and the Skewers. Good morning. Hello. Hello there. The lovely Kai has joined us this morning. Says, yeah, ships, there are not that many teams. No, and you think the meta fleets might have been something you looked at when you were testing. Just throwing it out, just the meta, you know. I mean, no biggie, you know. Ray Rock says, good morning, Jedi crew. Flashers of pickles, strokers of Wookiees, drinkers of coffee. I'm not drinking coffee yet this morning. I'm just drinking caffeine. Caffeine's where it's at, because I drank a lot last night. I had to do some shoeies last night too. All this, I did 3 shoeies of Mad Dog 2020.
Oof.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, what, out the same shoe, or did you have 3 separate shoes?
It's always the same shoe. I always keep the same shoe. I'm gonna have to clean the shoe because
I never know the etiquette of these things.
Mm-hmm. That's just tradition. Kevin Riley says, hi, did you guys use a crit avoidance arrow on Jedi Luke in the JML event tier? No. I don't think so. When you say you talk about you say JML event tier, or you talk about
the unlock.
For the unlock? No, I did not use a crit avoidance. I went straight offense into him. I didn't have any crit avoidance or anything on him. I just went hard offense on Luke.
No, I think I might have. There is a strat that does talk about that. It's a real yeah. I mean, yeah, because if he gets critted, on tier 3, there is that's
the Vader Poppy fight. You know, where you're fighting them. I don't think I ever used one, and I beat it. I don't think I ever used a crit avoidance arrow. I just did there's a certain order to go in. I mean, it just depends. I mean, RNG is RNG, but I don't remember using one. I guess I would say this, if you're lower relics trying to beat that fight, say like relic 5 or something, probably want a crit avoidance arrow. I think I went in mine with like relic 7, my Jedi Luke in that fight.
I also, I mean, obviously they've mucked around with Vader so many times.
I know.
I don't know I couldn't even tell you which version of Vader's in that event and whether that's changed over time.
It's been a hot minute since I did it. I mean, I would say if you want to be safe, you can. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you have some good offensive secondaries on that arrow. Like it can be an offensive arrow, whatever set you're using, but it's crit avoidance. Just put some offense percentage in the secondary, if that's the case. So you can make your Luke still hit hard, right? Because the sooner you kill, Vader and Palpatine, as soon as you get them off the board, the better your life will be in that fight. I don't think I did, but then again, I was running Relic 7 when I went in that fight, with the mods up and running. So, all right, there you go. Ray Rock's there you go. Go check out Dialer Tactics video I got on it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you'll find it. It should just be up. Yeah, that's a great question. I hadn't done that in a hot minute, man. Good question.
That's the thing, because also it wasn't one I ever failed. So whereas, you have to do the special one 10 times, you're a bit more familiar with that, or SLKR, that was harder. The GML one was relatively easy, apart from there was that one little tiny bits in there, but there wasn't one that you had to kind of really fail multiple times. So it's hard to remember.
I agree. So yeah, there you go. Let's see. We had a question from Helly there. There it is. Question for Ranger. I miss your Ranger rants. Well, you'll see one on the Heinz video. They always make me feel warm and fuzzy. They bring me such joy, peace, and contentment. Like your old favorite blankie. Yeah, I got a little bit last night. It is mind botting, like having your mind in a bottle. Let's see here. Jackson Gaming and Reaction says, anyone know when the next Grand Arena event starts? Yeah, Monday. This is pretty much the cycle that they're on right now, and that could change, in the future. But it's like that first week of Conquest, and they're trying to line up a TB with it. Is the week off of GAC, and then it'll come back the week after. So you get a week off from GAC. So last one ended last Monday. So the new one will come. The new one will launch in the afternoon here on Monday, usually 5 my time, 6 Eastern, or something around that time. 24 hours to join, and then you're up and running.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your questions.
Back to fives.
Back to good old fives. Yeah, last night. I mean, we had some good rolls. I mean, I've got the because I got Hondo to Relic 7, so I've got his Datacron, and I just got the Grand Inquisitor Datacron. So yeah, coming along nicely. It takes me about I can never catch up on Datacrons after the first conquest, but about the second one, I've got a buttload of them, and then get them to Relic 9 because you get all those materials.
I was looking with somebody this morning, and we just have too many. I mean, I've almost got too many now. So, and it seems to be getting, I mean, worse is the wrong word for it. Better every time they scrap one set, I seem to get more and more. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit in the drop rates versus what you get is a little bit out of whack. I might end up with like 30 R9 at this point. I don't know. Maybe that's just, and then obviously Conquest is easier, or has certainly some interesting teams we chat about later on for nice cheeses. But yeah, so I think we're probably getting a lot of Datacrons, but yeah.
Adahan224 says, afternoon. Good afternoon, my friend. Glad to have you here. Nathaniel Morgan says, we are the unpaid beta testers. That feels what it feels like. They're all this. I mean, we really are, man. I mean, it's like throw shit out there. Let's see what happens. Like, I just don't understand that mentality. Settle Dagger says, hello there. Hey, Settle. And hello there. Yeah, Kevin Riley to tier 3. Yeah. Ray Rock says he used a crit avoidance on. Yeah, check out that Dollar Swat. I didn't use one, but I think it's a good shout out to do that. Especially if you're going in there and, you need it, just do that, yeah. Oh, who joined us? Oh, the Welland Cannoneer. Har, be Carthrick. Har.
What's happened, fellas?
What's going on last night, man? You missed all the fun last night.
Oh, my old man was in town, so...
Figured there's something. Carthrick's not on a stream because he's spending quality time with Papa or Mama. And by Mama, I mean his lady.
Yeah. So, Dad was in town. We were hanging out till about 9 o'clock my time, which is about 11 yours.
Yeah.
And then
in the sleepy time.
Well, yeah, I'm not feeling super hot. If you can hear that in my voice.
You sound a little congested. You sound either you a little too much of the a little too much swill last night, or you're a little bit under the weather?
Just something out of the blue just kind of made my throat kind of scratchy and stuff. So it's just been kind of weird today, but whatever.
Confirmed. Karth has the Rona. All right.
No, I can still smell the bullshit.
There you go. Yeah. So go. You know what, Kevin Riley, just go with the crit avoidance arrow. Just make sure you got that good offense on the secondary. And I think you'll be all right. Caius' question: does anyone know how much dodge chance on a max TIE defender has? From what I've noticed, that thing dodges more than the TIE fighter. No idea. Like, I don't know what its dodge percentage is. Do you know, Aldous Carthrick?
Let's see. Is
it over 9,000?
Is 35%.
35%. Okay.
And same for dodge, 35%. So it'll dodge just over a third of the time.
But it does also come in when it gets that buff. Does it not come in with foresight as well?
Yeah, it gets a lot of foresight.
So it keeps spamming foresight in itself, meaning it's almost unhittable.
Yeah, if it has special forces and resilient defense, it gains foresight for 1 turn at the start of each turn.
Yeah, so basically it's virtually unhittable. Gonna have to sort of tag team it to get it down. So yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a menace.
LBC, you know me, says, morning, fellers. Sorry I'm late. LBC is never late, nor is he early, Frodo Baggins. He arrives precisely when he means to. You're here right when you need to be here, buddy. We're glad to have you here. Kai says, I really hope I'm pretty much done conquesting before GAC comes back. Yeah, for the most part, if you hit it hard, and we did a lot of it last night, although I lost my mind and couldn't complete the last couple of battles because we were getting a crazy ass hype train. Oh my god. That was nuts, dude. Level 11, dude. People went bananas. And then I got on Heinz stream thinking, well, we got that out of our system. Another 15, dude. I did some more warm action last night and I did 3 shoes yesterday, brother. You missed all the fun.
Yeah, boss DM me. It was like,
I know, he told me when we were doing it. I'm like, what do you mean you tagged everyone? I'm like, you bastard.
He's like, you guys gotta get in here and make Ranger do a shoey.
I'm like, I'm gonna kill you, boss. I'm gonna find you and I'm going to kill you.
I'm out to dinner, but next time.
Yeah. Contingent was a big part of that. You know, Contingent was having some fun last night. And then for the Heinz stream, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't want to be nice. I'm like, nah, man, if you can afford it, go to ham. Because really seeing Heinz suffer was worth it because I was already suffering. I was just taking him down the sinking ship with me. Helen says, oh, here's one. A question for anyone. Assuming I'm a free-to-play player, how long should one expect to wait when taking a tune from Gear 12 to Relic 5? First, I'm currently using 3 Cantina energy refreshes a day. It depends. It depends on what the character is and like furnaces and stuff like that, because you're taking it from Gear 12 to Relic 0 is its own timeline, right? Relic 5 is, I would say that's a secondary thing. I mean, Relic 5 is, I mean, as long as you have the signal data, and that could be a couple days there, but the Relic material, because it's so hard to get those right side pieces, right? Either through Shard Shop, or even if you farm the node, let's say like furnaces and the ships, you may only get a couple at a time. So that one I think is the bigger holdback.
I think it'll take you longer to get to relics than we'll get to R5. Because R5 relatively is the new R1, like as they move forward with the amount of gear we're getting and everything else. I know for smaller accounts it's going to be harder to say those things, but moving forward, it's like R5 is just like you can almost just sneeze and get it there with how they got it, because they don't require any of the electrum conductors or zimbitals, and so you're not pulling apart your Gear 12 gear to get relic levels. You're just farming the signal data, which just takes time.
I normally get one gear piece maybe a day, sort of like, so if I have one character, it maybe takes me about 6 days, just kind of passively without really focusing on it too hard. And I tend to kind of maybe be about 6 days to take somebody from G12 with nothing to Relic 1 or Relic 0. And then about 3 days of farming the energies, kind of how it works. But like you say, it depends on which one it is and exactly what gear. But some of them duplicate up quite a bit, which is quite annoying. And you can end up needing 80 of the same blue thing.
The binoculars are notorious for that, yeah.
But with the chase on now is a decent opportunity to kind of run, you know, is to kind of run and get some more of those kind of stocked up. So
yeah, I did a bunch of stuff for the chromium transistors, you know, those because I use that one piece. So I've been using the ship energy to get a buttload of those light blue discs that you need for the salvage. But I think today I'm going to switch over to back to the binoculars. You just, that's a one piece, that purple piece that you need such an ass load of, that really, not even the gold pieces. And the other thing too, that is hard to say, like, let's say 6 days, but you could do a raid and get a piece that you're just like, there you go, right? And then you're off to the races. So that could shorten it, which is always good. So yeah, let's say a week. It would take you from nothing on there to Relic 5. It should take you about a week. Farming the signal data, farming the pieces you need, and the big thing is going to be farming those pieces. Yeah, there's a lot of dodge talking about that ship. That's still, yeah. The thing works says Defender has higher dodge than the TFP. Yeah.
It is an incredibly good ship though, and I know they are going to muck about with it and probably change it under Thrawn, but even with what it's got, it's still very, very, very good. So, and the drop rates, the galactic chases, it's going on too long.
Pretty solid. I give CG credit on that. I mean,
if they meant it, then thank you.
Yes.
But I'm still waiting for the post on Monday to say, oh, by the way, we're just stopping this 2 days early because of things. Yeah, it's incredibly, inverted commas, generous, but it's like this is the thing where they keep saying, because they don't really have a standard launch, right? Like, it's like some days they'll do it 5 times, some days, but all the galactic chases have been 5 days in the past, and then this one's magically 7.
Which I love, man, because that pretty much, I'm doing the 50s and the 100s, with the energy and stuff. I'm gonna get this 5-star easily with the drop rates being what they are. I'm looking at like 6 stars maybe. You know what I'm saying, on the ship? I'm like, damn, and that's if I don't go ham, which I'm not going ham because I have signal data and stuff I'm trying to work on a relic. So I mean, I'm not that upset if I just end up with just a 6-star ship. I'm like, well, that's still good enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment I'm 45 out of 80.
Nice 7-star.
So I'm almost. I'll get 6 stars tomorrow. on it.
Hot. Yeah, that's hot, man.
Yeah, because it just looks very good. And I even took my Aiden to Relic 5 now. She was languishing in G12, so I bumped her up as well just for the damage and stuff. So
yeah, I mean that makes sense, man. Contingent says I don't know what you're talking about, Ranger. Angel he. Tembless says hello there, Ranger, Ollie, Karth, and Skewer. Skull, and hello there. Fatality V2, the UK version, TM, says, morning all, maybe CG needs to think about starting the test program again. They are out of control right now with the nurse. Yeah, we talked about that on stream last night because me and Heinz were both beta testers. You notice that there wasn't a lot of issues with characters and stuff when we had the beta program, you know, and I know the leak happened and I know they got rid of the program, but you know what we also talked about last night? Leaks are still happening. We're still knowing about all this stuff, so it ain't just the testers that are leaking some shit. There's some shit leaking out of there. I don't know who it is, but somehow they are finding out information, and people are, you know, are hearing about it. You know, we hear about shit all the time, and you know they're rumors. But when you keep hearing rumors and they turn out to be true, you're like, wait a minute, like wait, how? Wait, okay, come on now.
I also think their review department is going to end up being their largest department. There's going to be 50 people currently monitoring interactions at this rate. It's like, yeah, I think, but I very much expect there'll just be a Thrawn exclusion. I don't think they'll do much more in the TIE Defender other than just put in that and try and kind of force you back to the Executor and force you, or just say that the elements that get only work if size in the starting lineup or something, the same as the TIE Interceptor with Vader. But it's just a bit cheap that, you know, that's what they have to. It kind of kills the theory crafting and it kills kind of the ability. Like I was saying earlier on, I really think that when we get back around to some of the weird like ship events, now having an irresistible stun on the bench, even if it's under a random capital ship, is going to be kind of valuable and stuff, and might help you be able to do some of the features you've never done before.
Yeah. No, I like the ship. I think the ship is really good, and I'm excited that we finally got, because we've been asking for it a long time. It's just annoying that, you know, something comes in and it's just obviously not ready to be used, and you're just like, I mean, it's not working as intended, right? And once in a while, you know, when you're doing a game like this, I don't care how much you test, something will get through, right? Especially on characters, because the community will always come up with some kind of strat or thing that, being a former tester, I test the shit out of stuff, but there's just only so much you can test, right? But you know, these.
Well, I just think that they seem to be under pressure. So I think, you know, a lot of people feel there's a light side GL coming. It feels as though they're under pressure to fire this out. I mean, they could quite easily have just put the TIE Defender. We didn't need it this week. They could have put it, you know, it looks rushed. It doesn't seem to work exactly like it described. It does seem to have the odd kind of weird interactions, maybe, like it hasn't really been polished. So it just looks like they're rushing it out, and potentially it might be a requirement for a GL, effectively. And that sort of thing. And then looks like they might have just shoved Aiden in at the last minute. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff about it that isn't making a lot of sense. I mean, from a lore standpoint, obviously, but bits about it doesn't make sense.
I don't mind that so much, you know, because for the game, you know, I mean, the lore is the lore, right? But, you know, if it, you know, if it, for certain reasons, for the game, you know, and stuff, I'm okay with that. You know, we know what the lore is. That's not going to change, you know. I mean, this game, you know, has Legends characters in it, you know, they're not officially canon and stuff like that. So that stuff doesn't bother that much. Would I've liked to have seen it under Throne? Of course. And, you know, that's, you know, we're Star Wars fans. That's what we want, right? But I'm okay with that. LBC says, this is only my second conquest on hard mode for 4.2 million GB, so it's an adjustment. For the past year, I've been 6 days left. I should conquest now. Yeah, if you're gonna do hard, you go all in. Get what you can, brother. And I always tell people, you know, as much as, and I'm not a big fan of conquest. This repetitive stuff is just, it drives me up the wall. But you should do it, and especially now, because it's not just the new character, which you want to stay on top of as best you can, right? Because once that character gets out of that store, we've seen how awful Proving Grounds and how to get those characters are just awful, right? But that Datacron material, it's a big deal, you know? And I do recommend the $9.99 pack if it's feasible with your current financial situation, because you get that extra stuff, and it does matter. It really does. So just do the best you can, LBC. Try to get through as much as you can. I mean, at 4.2 million, there's going to be a lot you can't do, but just focus on just getting through the sectors as best you can and getting much as high of a tier on the box as you can. And I think you'll be in a good spot.
There is some pretty good. I've been learning quite a lot of cheese teams, and some of the feats. So I cheesed the ransom one this morning, and you can I racked up 27 ransoms in a single battle versus a nest. And nest never moved, and I've only got like a G7 Hondo. And the ability to kind of cheese that, you got the level 3 cheese against that unkillable SRP. That you can basically do 3 of the feats, the non-separate droid, the master training, and the blind. You can do all 3 of those in 2 battles effectively. So there's incredible content creators out there making incredible videos with cheeses, and those cheeses, even though you don't have the characters, you can actually get an incredible number of stars.
Well, that was the one thing I was hoping for, and I don't know if it's going to change. I know there's one in Sector 3 that we did where we knocked out 3 feats in 2 battles, right?
Yeah, SRP.
Yeah, against SRP, and there's one in Sector 5 that you can do for the fracture that Boss is telling me about, and I will get with him. And
there's a Van Seal. There's a Van Seal on that one. There's a Van Seal video on it where you get about 10 or 12. But
yeah, he got the one he used. He got 20 something fractures on the first time he did it. So I'm like, shit, that works for me, man. As long as that's there and they don't change it, because see, Cheese Notorious, when we come up with finding some kind of cheese, the next conquest, sometimes they will take it away, and you're just like, oh god.
What I don't understand is why they're now just telling us to use the 2 new droids. I mean, I just take an SLKR with the 4 droids, the R2D2, C3PO, 000, and whoever, B1 or whatever his name is, the other one, and literally SLKR solos a Grievous team, and the 4 droids can die if they want, and you get, you basically just double up. So I don't know why they've kind of stayed away now from keeping these things alive, which was the hard bit before. You can now just do it with a 3-star thing.
Yeah. All right. Calvin, awesome, has joined us. What's going on, big Calvin?
Not a whole lot. Happy to be here as always. Ranger, how are we doing?
Well, we're recovering. Again, another crazy Heinze stream last night.
That's typically how those go. Yeah. We had the Gambit roundtable last night too.
Oh, so boy.
I pieced out a little bit early, and I think that was probably good judgment on my part.
Yeah, that one's a late one. Yeah. Perfect. So we got Carth, we got Calvin, we got Aldous Sandfly, myself, and we are going to be answering these questions. Dr. Matt Geo says, hello, folks. Greetings from Britain. Hello. OBZ says, question. Just started the job event. Is the Gamguard Zeta needed to avoid losing tickets? And I have 2 Omnis. Should I apply to Embo and Skiff Lando for TW? I haven't heard anything about Skiff's value. No, for TW, I mean, you can. They're really good, but I mean, the one that I do for JAC, you definitely want to put on is that old Big K. Big K's Omicron and JAC is quite delicious. The Zeta for Gamguard. I'm trying to think. Let me look here. I think I had it.
I've been told the job event's like
it's
super easy though.
It
like
really
you can't
is.
Fail it almost.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, especially the last tier and stuff.
Oh, you might want Gamguards anyways, just for the team.
Loyal Enforcer. No, this is Omicron. Yeah, I had a Zeta on. I didn't do his Omicron. I didn't do any Omicrons for the Jabba mission. I mean, we did it on stream, and I think at every fight I didn't have any issues with it, especially the last tier, and that was just the relic levels that they were at, and I didn't have any problems with it. It's more designed, I mean, for you to win it and be cinematic than it is, to be difficult. I mean, there could be somebody out there that lost it, but I don't know, because you keep taking turns, and as long as you know what to use, it's. I don't think there's anything crazy on that last tier fight. Even through the whole event, I didn't have any problems with any of the fights. I mean, it's just kill, get tickets, kill, get tickets, more about the cinematic stuff. I mean, the latest GLs have been like that, Kenobi and Luke and now Jabba. It just, as long as you got what you need. I mean, JML was a little tricky, like we just talked about with the Jedi Luke versus Vader one. There's also the interaction between Sidious. You want his stuff when you do, you're doing C's battles. But the latest ones, I'm trying to think if there's anything that caught me off guard with that shit. I don't think there is, especially on Java.
I say JMK, you literally can't lose the first 2 battles. You can take off mods and do everything you're not supposed to, and you will not die.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think you need the Omnis unless you want to use it for TW. I don't have them. The job is still fantastic in GAC and TW without any Omicrons. Still a nightmare to deal with. But if you had one, I'd say the Chrysanthemum one is really good, especially in GAC. That extra protection and shit is crazy good. Let's see if I haven't done any other ones, and my job does quite well. So yeah, I think you'll be all right, buddy. Okay. Sorry, my thing locked up. Dr. Matsuda, not much happening right now, but that's to be expected. At least I've got my Blackwing virus project to keep me going through these long, dark, cold nights. Yeah, you know what? Keep your mind active. That's all right. Oh, there she is. There's the lovely Desi. Desi had a lot of fun making me do shoeies and shit last night along with Contingent. It was a goddamn conspiracy. It's just, well, good morning, gentlemen. Love seeing 3 of my favorite fellas here making my morning far brighter. Well, we like to do that. Your day is very bright. Fatality says, I am the love. Let's see here. All right, Desi's. I don't know what she's. That looks great. Oh no. Jack Dino's question, Aldous. Can you expand on the Ransom versus Nest Cheese, or who
Yeah,
did
I just typed it in chat. Yeah,
Oh,
basically find any node in phase 1 that has a nest in it. So basically, you have a team that's cart lead with Canderous and Nest and the other 2. Basically, go in with CLS, Han, Chewie, Chupio, and Hondo. So miss out C3PO from your standard Rebel team. Basically, hit Canderous first so he doesn't go. Kill him if you want, whatever, but he'll be stunned. Kill the 4 of them, leave Nest, and then just hit auto. You don't need to auto base again, just hit auto. The Nest will never take a turn, you can't kill it, and you won't even lose the energy from the team. Perfect. And you should get 25 to 28, depending on how fast you do the starting. And mine was G7, basically. My Hondo's rubbish.
Meow Meow, hey, Meow Meow's here. Says, question for Calvin. We're going to be a few months behind on Reva Unlock. How do you beat her in GAC K1? And it says, okay, bye. Well, Meows, you should stick around a little bit unless you're busy. If you're busy, yeah. That's fine. Reva, what's the plan there, Calvin? That's what Meow Meow wants to know. What's your plan?
We don't, obviously, I mean, this is months out. We haven't even seen this character in action. I think the only way we've seen her in action is in Conquest, actually, which that's even kind of out there. But the one thing that I have been thinking about, if you just need something that's going to kill the team, and this will depend on if she gets a Datacron right out the gate or not, but the team just cannot, for anything, hold up versus Lord Vader. Like, even with the Death Mark, they're gonna be immune to max health damage for part of it. So even if you can land it, or that team doesn't even have that many cleanses to begin with, so it's not going to happen that often. Their Lord Vader's still just going to melt it. It was kind of like when Ben Solo came out. Raylo holds versus a lot more teams now, but Lord Vader is still one of those things where he just doesn't care. Like the synergy isn't there.
Yeah.
So if I have to pick something, it's probably going to be that. But I mean, that's pretty expensive. We'll see how the board looks by the time we get there.
Yeah, I agree. B Cube said you don't need the Zedon Gamma. Good to know, B Cube. Thank you for that insight. Alpha and the Omegas join us in the chat. Says hi, Ranger and Skiers. Hey, buddy. Let's see here. Jack Daniel says job mission kill order on matters. I was going after Luke first and almost lost a few times. Changed to target Han first and it was easy. Oh yeah, I always go after Han or Chewie first. I would go after Chewie to get that shit off those other 2 so I can land all that other crap. But there are videos out there. If you need to watch it, watch it. I mean, I didn't have any problems with doing the Jabba fights at all. I didn't lose any. It was just a matter of going in and stuff. As I said, the only thing I can recently when we had the question about is the Jedi Luke event for JML, right, where you're fighting Palpatine and Schmader. And then I remember the Sidious one when it first came out, applying the Zetas, which I did because I'm like, I'm not taking any risk on this because I've seen if you don't have it, how that can go to poo-poo in a heartbeat. Mike says the Honda opening mission is far worse than any Java. There you go. Michael W. Huntington III from His Majesty's Secret Gaming Service. Darsign 1972 says, Quetch, I understand that CG made changes to Trey and they are refunding the Omicron. When did they refund it when they made the changes? DLC will start before I get it back, so that's not right. So you can see and play with it a little bit, make a decision on it, and I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, it's kind of letting you test drive it of the original one you had before you have to go back. I prefer it. Like I will love to see what it can do, and if it is not like doing anything else that I want it to do in that 1 week, then I don't reapply it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine. Daisy says I did nothing wrong. You didn't. No. Yeah, that's right, continue. She is the angel and you are the hill. Dalton Miles Sato Konnichiwa says hello there. Hello there.
I do find it strange on the kind of, they're obviously, quite right to refund the Omicron and allow people to put it back on. It is kind of like, why didn't they tell us when they're refunding it though? They could say, look, exactly like you, Calvin and yourself just given a brilliant reason why they haven't refunded it yet and why you can change it. But communicate that. Say, look, we're gonna roll the change on this Saturday, type thing.
Yeah.
They said next week. I guess they could have been more specific.
Well, when the next update, server update happens. The thing that pissed me off about that is not that they had to fix Treya. It is what it is, right? But we were talking about this on the lunch stream and other places. That subtle change they did to her kit
didn't
tell us. It was like, this doesn't work against Dark Side Galactic Legends. It's like
they didn't put it in the notes.
And I'm like, how does that get missed, man? That's kind of an important thing to know, right? Just scratching my head on that. Karth, go ahead.
Oh, it was just dumb that they didn't have a separate post addressing the entirety of the fix, like the bug that was present and the addition that they didn't want it to work versus Darkseid because it was overperforming. But and that's just because if you look back months ago, there were streamers showing how to beat or damn near beat Lord Vader with Treya already. And so they would just probably shut the whole thing off as a way that they didn't want that to work, it is what it is. I'll probably still end up putting it back just because of what it beats punching still up. And then it'll depend on what the board looks like when Reva starts showing up in the wild. I know Treya is not going to be optimal there anymore.
No.
But we might get more things so we can work against Malgus and things of that nature. And if that ends up being the case, I'll still take Treya be taking out Malgus versus throwing in C or Slacker versus it moving down the line in GAC. So, it's not great. But CD's never been strong at communicating, so we'll just take it in stride.
Yeah.
I think I would say some. Under these circumstances, when you do F up, 200 crystals a long way, or 5 shards of the new ship or so, admit you've done something a little bit wrong. Admit that you've, kind of realize that a tiny bit of a make good would actually make people feel a bit good. Why they don't do that, I'll never know. Why they don't just go, look, I really apologize because some of you will have relic, some of them have relic Cyan and Nihilus that maybe wouldn't have. Some of them are relic Treya. I think
I'm doing it right now still, yeah.
But they're not rolling that back. They don't get that as an option. So people have used resources on characters because of this, and they left it a long time. They didn't immediately. They knew it was an issue basically on day one. I know that was over Christmas, but they could have come out maybe 3-4 weeks earlier to say, look, we're going to investigate this. Please don't relic, or we are monitoring. They could have been a little bit more communicative. I think they have to be more communicative. And informal posts, not in, one Discord server. you know what I mean? I think they really need to kind of communicate more, especially when doing something like this. They need to admit they've made some mistake. They were so fast on the TIE Defender. Like literally one day and they're on the TIE Defender.
Same day, basically. You know, it's like, you know, you see Fatal and Arnold. I mean, literally, you saw that post. It was like, oh, oh man. You know, and it's just head scratching. You know, you don't want Trey to beat Lord Vader. Okay. But then you have teams, you know, you take Datacrons out. Fennec murderizes, the bounty hunters murderize Lord Vader. I mean, I've done it repeatedly over and over again. Datacrons changed the fight a little bit so it can go either way, but it's still a hard, pretty nice counter, you know, with Bam and Fennec and stuff. So they never, you know, mess with that. You know, they seem to be fine with that, you know, beating the GL. So I don't know. It's just inconsistency with what their messaging is on this stuff, you know. Now I agree Trey was doing some crazy stuff, but I mean, you know, the thing changing that kit is you can't use against, you know, Dark Side Galactic Legends. Like,
I think for Trey, it really comes down to the investment required. That's why they stepped in and said no, because, you know, you could really walk in there with next to no relic levels on your Sith and just beat down an R9 Lord Vader's like it was nothing.
Yeah, good point.
And that's really when we see things kind of go sideways. And like people in chat are mentioning, oh, well, what, they didn't do anything when Wampa beat C. The C comps that Wampa can beat have to be the trashiest Sith that are available.
Yeah,
like, you got to understand that when something can solo something, if it's only because the player is scrimping their resources to pull to a second team that you can then go in and do something, it's not the same. It's not the same as having Traya with, you know, with Sidious and Nihilus or whatever you want team comp going in threes, beating the crap out of an R9 Vader, Royal Guard and Maul.
Yeah.
And like it's nothing. I mean, you know, that's just not a good trade-off for resource investment on a character that's significantly older. And it's just going to be what's going to be. You know, I get where they come from on those things. I do wish that CG was a little bit more, when they say investigating, I wish they were a little bit more clear on the path, because they did come out a couple of weeks ago in the first week, I think, of threes, and we're like, hey, we're investigating this. Yeah. But then we sat radio silent for 2 weeks on what that is going to be, and then we kind of, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to actually refund this now. But at that point, you know, the Sith server I'm a part of, you know, there were guys that had R8 or R9 the entire squad because they were just absolutely obliterating fools, you know, and they were having a great time with it, which, you know, they got their resources and advantages while they had that available to them. And I think that's part of that's why they don't give us anything, is because if you won because you had it, you've technically claimed your advantage.
That's true.
Air quotes here. I don't always agree with. They should do something. I think they should always do something. I know other games that just every time they have to, you know, flick the light switch real quick to, you know, to reset something, like, oh, well, here's some currency. So, I mean, it just ends up being what ends up being for this game. But, you know, I kind of wish they were a little bit more clear on what things they wanted to protect and why.
Yes.
Because it's like like you said, with Fennec, it was cheaper and more efficient to not put Amis on Sign of Django and just run Fennec lead to beat Lord Vader than it was to invest in what they wanted to beat Lord Vader. But the point is that they designed Fennec to work under that, and they can't really get rid of Fennec, because then if you get rid of Fennec, you get rid of the entire thing, how it works. And then on top of all of that is that it still requires decent relic levels. You got to invest in Fennec. You can't just sit there on R3 Fennec and go beat the crap out of something. You don't have the damage for it.
No, you need the damage for it. So
no, I think one thing they are monitoring, but they monitored it in 3. Now, the problem isn't really in 3s. The problem is more that when you get Darth Talon in there on 5, you know, so
and if it works in 3s, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it works in 3s, it's a problem. But like 5s was going to be, and a lot of people in chat saying, I've lost it. You know, Lord Vader was not that team was not a pushover. It was not an auto win in 3s. But when it gets round to 5s, it's significantly better. And I think
so. The reason why it
Marker.
wasn't an auto win in 3s is because there was a legitimate bug inside of Trey's Omni. It was allowing them to stack up to 500%, and that was not intended.
Yes.
But that didn't always activate. It wasn't consistent.
Yes.
There was something that was letting that tick over back and forth. And so there were times, because every time I used it, I lost. I could not make a dent in Lord Vader to save my life. He would always just heal up more than I could ever damage him. And I have R7 across the board.
Yeah, it was inconsistent with me too.
So it wasn't perfect.
It was a timer. There was a timer. If you didn't get there quickly enough,
yeah,
he got up his stacks or whatever, then he was unkillable.
Yeah, when he got underestimated,
past 50 stacks, he would cycle through his lead too quickly, and then he would be immune to heal and immunity.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't kill him fast enough at that point. So yeah. Fatality V2 question: is there a way to cheese torture? I have the Inquisitors all at Relic 7. Brother, I just looked at that Sector 4 feed and I'm just in there going.
Short answer is no.
No,
because you
there
can't,
isn't.
unless it's hard to win the battles without using your data discs, and it's hard to get GI to circle back fast enough to get more than one torture off in a fight.
There was a cheese in the last conquest. I don't know whether it works, but in the last conquest, you used to be able to target a Jawa node, which was phase 1 special with JML, Watt, and the droid that looks like C3PO but isn't, the dark one. And then basically just hit, I think it was auto basic, I think we just auto basic, and every time 000 took a turn, he'd put torture on. I don't know if that torture feat still works. I've done the torture now because I just did Inquisitor battles, but that did work last time, but that was in phase 1 instead of phase 4, and I haven't tried it.
Yeah, significant difference in phase 4, because I mean you could farm the Datacron node, but that's still 50 tortures. Which, I mean, if you're going to get through conquest, and then you're just going to sit there, which is not bad. You're going to get a lot of material from it, but you're going to have to sit there. Unless there's some kind of cheese somebody comes up with, and just sit there and do that and get maybe, 2 tortures in the fight if you can prolong it?
Yeah, you might get 2 if you take off, like, your Zealous Ambitions and stuff, and you're able to cycle back around and do enough damage, or if you really cheese the mechanics of the Inquisitors and you're able to get those 6 stacks of Purge and trigger all the bonus turns on GI, you might get back around. But the cooldown on that ability is so long, it's like 4 or 5 turns. It's just really hard to cycle it back. I'm just going back and forth between Inquisitors and Aphra. I'll get it, but it's gonna take me 8 days to do it. So
yeah. Go in there and just go. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing every day now. But there's so many of these fights that I'm having to I still have to do the leadership one, but I'll knock that out. And Sector 1, I would just go to the Datacron node in Sector 1, and I'll do the GLs with the 2 droids, and I'll do the non-leader and the other droid one and just knock it out. So it's like, oh my god, that's crazy. I still have to finish the Separatist one and the other one. For those 15, it's like, oh my god.
I've been running Malik lead Sith to double up on the Sith, and Cat lead GMK. Are pretty solid teams.
Yeah.
With no leader. Especially the Sith ones. So basically, I'm doing the 40 Sith battle and the leaderless ones at the time.
Okay. Fatality. My biggest issue with the nerf to Defender is that they didn't do anything when Echelon was in and beating Executor. Why is the Defender beating it such an issue? I don't know.
Again,
Echelon got the same post.
It got the same post, but again, there is a stark difference here, guys. It's called investment. The First Order fleet does not work with a 5-star echelon. It does not work with a Relic 3 First Order officer.
Yeah.
You had to push those up to get the success rate over 80%.
Yeah.
You had to invest more into your mods. You had to invest more into the pilots to make it happen. It was not just out the box, take the crap you've got and push it out in the feet.
Yeah.
Van Seal's video he did yesterday, not Van Seal, back that up, Playbook.
Yeah.
He's taken literally some of the ships that we just have collecting dust and just mowing down every executor comp because he's exploiting the mechanics that CG's put in the game.
Doesn't he need like an R8 plo to do it?
R7, you just got to get before.
Like that to me screams the same. Like I don't.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. But the thing is that it's contingent on one relic character, not a relic fleet. But I mean,
I still would put them in the same boat, though.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and I would agree, but
relics for First Order with SLKR, like it's
But
Echelon got the same post and they did nothing about it, so we'll see.
And that's exactly. We don't even know they're gonna nerf it. All they're doing is looking at it, because at this point, again, that's part of what CG's problem ends up being in the long run is that they release something in the wild. The first thing we want to do is try to beat the meta with it, and they put things when they put massive TM gains under characters. You don't think it's going to cause a problem somewhere? Like you're just going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, you're just going to have foresight, pump turn meter, foresight, pump turn meter, foresight, pump turn meter. It's like, well, the only fleet that's going to stop that is going to be the Profundity. Executor can't do that, and I don't know why they are that worried about the performance against the Executor. The fleet's almost 2 years old now. Let other investments come in and take over.
Yeah.
But anyways,
and the Executor's got counters now. I mean, even outside of that one, you got the first order counter you can use. If you're
first order's not consistent, it's not 100%.
It's still pretty decent though. I mean, we're 70% on that fight. It can go wonky, yeah. But even if you don't beat it, you still win, in my opinion, because you take out so many ships, right? Unless you just get the absolute dog shit RNG that comes with it sometimes. But I didn't mind sometimes where I'm like, well, I just got 1 or 2 ships left. I'll just clean it up with trash, So
as long as your first order officer is a high enough relic, and has got decent mods, then he struggled to kill the Echelon. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not. But I don't know. I think I wish they'd leave it. I think I agree. I mean, Executor is 2 years old. I mean, I'm surprised they're almost trying to force us back to attacking the Profundity with it. And actually, it's not too bad against Profundity. It will, even if they force us back onto the Tarkin fleet with it, under the Scythe, we're not a million miles off beating that fleet with about a 70 or 80% win rate. So I don't know. I'm surprised they're almost I'm surprised they care, to be honest, about the Executive.
All right. Back in here, questions. I'm not seeing any questions, just a lot of good conversations going on right now.
Van Seal did a cheese video on the fracture in phase 5. It wasn't on the torture.
Not on torture, right? That's phase 4. The torture feed is 50 tortures in phase 4, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I hope someone finds some cheese for that, because I don't mind. I don't mind at all farming.
Ray Rock, I would love to agree with that, but it's because you already have the other characters at higher relics. You already have both your crews at R7. You already have both. Phasma's already R5. First Order Stormtroopers already R5. Your pilots are R3, and even on top of that, you still got to usually got to bring in the Ebon Hawk to make that still work to delay the target locks long enough to not get them into contract. So I mean, you're already far more invested into that than you just by getting to the fleet. But you have to. I mean, again, it's just the part of it comes down to is that even with the Defender, CG might have just walked themselves into a corner that they can't get out of without completely scrapping a kit. So that's probably why the Echelon ended up getting left, is because without it, the fleet does nothing, and with it, it actually does something.
Yeah.
Because, that's what ends up happening. But I have a hard time going back and forth on that, because there's a lot of things that you could argue 7 ways to Sunday on, why that's unique and different, or why it's the same as something else, and it doesn't really move the needle for me, because I honestly don't think they're going to do anything to the Defender. I don't think they'll change it, because I don't think it's something that they can do differently now without straight up either putting specific clauses to just say, no, that doesn't work, like they did with Trey. Like, oh, well, if it's the Executor, then you don't get special forces anymore. Like they can't they designed it to do something, so they can't walk it back too far without eliminating its design purpose. So I don't think they'll do much with it. I just think they want to make sure that the interactions are playing out the way that the game should be playing out, and it's not like the TIE Defender at 4 stars it shouldn't be hitting for 120k on a basic. Just things of that nature is probably what they're going to look into, is the damage multipliers and stuff like that. But they're not going to go through and hack out parts of the kit.
I do think when I originally saw it, I mean, I think the ship meta is now moving towards the 3 hardest on defense, Profundity, Executor, and maybe Negotiator, because the counters we now have for them are relatively solid. So I think we'll increasingly see more and more people with that nightmare ship defense, but it's not actually a nightmare anymore, because you should be able to First Order Executor, you should be able to Empire Profundity, and you should be able to Malevolence to go. So I think we'll see more of that, if I'm honest.
Honestly, I think we're going to head to cheese defense on fleets moving forward. Because if you put down your best fleets, Executor, Profundity, and a Negotiator, or whatever, and I don't put down my best fleets and I save my counters, I will be more efficient on fleets 98% of the time.
Yeah, so I always keep Profundity, because that 75 banners makes a big difference.
Yeah, so if you're going to clear my board at 65 average and I'm going to clear your board at 72 average, then the trade-off is I win.
Okay.
So I think long term, if they keep jacking up the power of the lower tier fleets to being able to punch up into the other stuff, it's not worth putting it on defense anymore. And so I think we're going to move more into more having cheeses, and the only way they're going to make those sacrifices worth happening again is if they increase the number of ships on defense, which is happen. It's going to happen. I would be surprised if we get to summer without 4 fleets on defense.
Yes, I agree with that.
It does seem to be where we're heading, especially with Trench coming to the game as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Zori's out, and we know her ship's going to come in, so yeah.
Yeah. Like the day after she hits Farmable, it will be the day they announce the comeuppance.
Yeah. LBC question: I was out of town last week. What do you guys think of the Mando trailers? Oh, brother, man, I'm over the moon. I mean, we've been reviewing Bad Batch, and Bad Batch is fine. It is what it is. But man, I can't tell you how hyped I am for March 1st, man. I mean, holy God, that trailer was incredible. I mean, I'm ready. I'm so ready for that show. I mean, and I'm especially ecstatic for the Ahsoka series, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about that one. I'm like, oh, this looks so good, man. I mean, and Mando's like my favorite show that they put out, just because there's just been so many incredible moments in that series. And, I mean, if you look behind me, there's Mando. We've, thanks to you guys, as soon as I get the armor pieces, he'll be looking tall and stacked with baby Grogu over there. So, I mean, yeah. Oh God, I know how you guys feel. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, man. Let's March 1st cannot get fast. They're fast enough. God damn it. I don't know how hyped you guys are, but I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Let's go, baby.
Mando's good. I hope they kind of go in a good direction with it. I really loved the Cassie and the Andor series. I really love what they did with that as well. So we love what they're doing. It is incredible. Disney are just nailing it time after time, especially in the series.
Well, there's been some misses, and some stuff that wasn't as good, right? But I mean, Andor was phenomenal. Mando's been fantastic. Book of Boba Fett was, some of it I enjoyed, some of it I'm like, what? Same thing with Kenobi.
Why?
Yeah, Kenobi was the same way. There was parts of Kenobi I'm like, this is amazing. Because I just love Ewan McGregor. And every time he was in a scene, I'm like, oh, this is so good. And then there's other parts I'm like, huh? What's happening?
If they add 8-year-old Leia to the game with 1,000% evasion, you can't catch her. Well, we're like, yeah, we've inspired this from the scene where nobody could catch her.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so funny. Meow meow. Ranger, why haven't you catnapped Dingo Calvin to the guild? Because he loves his guild and he's happy where he's at.
Is he?
He doesn't want to go. Yeah.
Because it's easy, meow meow. We don't have 50 shards of Riva.
Hang on, I thought Calvin was in my guild now.
I am in your guild now, all this. Specifically because you're there.
Yeah, I have to stop saying things during this program now because Calvin's here that listens. Whereas before I could say whatever.
Oh yeah, you're not having your BlueStacks crashes in TB anymore. That whole phase for you is over.
I bet that went smooth. Oh god.
That was awkward. That was awkward.
Yeah.
But welcome, Calvin. Welcome in.
Yeah. Content, baby. Content. All right, top of the hour, we're gonna do some more questions here. Keep your conversations going. Keep the questions going. Got a great panel. Make sure everyone stop what you're doing. Hit the thumbs up. We got like 80 people watch us. Only 19 thumbs up. Come on. That's the easiest thing you can do to support the content. So just do that. If you want to support us more, great. And do the same thing for these other guys. We'll let them pimp their stuff here at the end of the show. But come on, show us a little love. Get those thumbs up. Let's go. What else? 73 question. Are you 100% on waiting until after we see the Omicron perform next GC for you add it back on? I think I'm still going to add it on. And I mean, just because Trey is just a really good, it's still going to be pretty good, solid. If I can't kill Lord Vader with it, okay. I still can take out Malgus and some other teams with it. That's going to be nice, right? So I'm still going to make the investment.
Yeah, for me, it's going to beat the teams I'm more cleanly. I think that's something that Calvin mentioned in his video with talking about it, was that it's going to raise the win rates on a lot of these teams that she's already fighting against without having to sacrifice as many resources, because the bonuses are going team wide. So you might be able to 3-man like a really tricky dash team in 5s because of her Omicron, or you might be able to punch up through even some of the harder core Malgus teams in 5s, because you can get around some of the mechanics now with having either the talent, maybe having with Talon there, or having a different Sith in play. You can kind of work around some of those mechanics again. And so I can't see it going so poorly that it doesn't improve how the team performed. But at the same time, it's just like, it really comes down to, do you have something else that desperately needs it more than Traya? And for a lot of people, the list is pretty short. Like, unless you have no other Omnis equipped, there's not very many characters I would put above her.
I'm putting it straight back on. I actually think it's a problem for the game going forward, is that whereas in the past or now we'll always test SLKR with Zombie and Daka, we're going to start testing Traya with various leaders, and they've only nerfed against dark side GLs at the moment, but I can see that being one of these things that over time it's going to keep cropping up, because the mechanics are a little broken, a little like Nest.
All right. Let me see. Questions. Alpha and Omega question. Do you think CG are going in the direction of only 5 ships per capital ship in fleets as opposed to having full reinforcement?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish they would. I wish they would just remove those last 2 reinforcement slots. We don't need them. They don't do anything. Just remove them.
I'm okay with them being there, because I like having the option, and because it's like that's been my biggest gripe with the competitive play in this for a long time, is the power saturation has really made it very easy to commit resources, especially when you get to the end. You're getting past the 10 and 11 million GP marks. You don't really have to sacrifice to make good teams. You have everything. So I don't mind them designing fleets to work with 5, and then if you because it's like remember the old Negotiator versus Malevolence fights. Some fights could go absolutely out the window on you, and you needed that 3rd or 4th reinforcement to bring that battle home because of just the RNG or whatever else. It's not as consistent of an issue now that we have more options, but that could happen. So players who are comfortable might have to commit more fleets or more ships to those battles to feel like they're going to have a better chance at winning in one battle. Because it's kind of the same thing even with the finalizer versus the executor. You kind of need that 3rd slot, because if you lose something early and you have to hobble along, you might need that extra reinforcement. So I don't want them to get rid of it. I like having the flexibility, but as if they're designing teams around 5, that's fine with me, because I think that's a better mechanic for them to design teams around. And then we get ships that are more plug and play or don't have homes, like Ebonhawk, like Lando's Falcon, where we get the opportunity to add a little extra oomph to a lineup with these more plug and play ship variants. So that way CG is not like, well, by God, we have all these Sith tags, but no Sith capital ship. We might as well get one going. And it's just like, but I want all my Sith to go with this Empire fleet you've made me build. So please don't. So
yeah,
I mean,
again,
we'll see how it
Carthy,
plays.
you put it so beautifully, and again, that's the kind of thing I wish CG would say is, look, we design these for 5 ships, and we give you 2 extra spots, because then people look at the 4 reinforcements thinking, well, where's my 7 ships? I think you're right. I think you sum it up beautifully with and even in chat, bringing in like the newer ships. It's like, anyway.
Real quick, you want to deploy dark side here, Karth?
Yeah, as long as you got room for it without going over the star.
We're at 224. I've got 9 million. That'll put us at 233 out of 235.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Making sure. I saw that and I was like, let me make sure no one else.
I did tag the whole guild did not deploy unless tagged specifically by an officer. So hopefully nobody decides to, be an idiot.
There you go. 233.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they have to disobey orders because that thing's locked. That's why I was just confirming.
That's why I lock them though, so that you get a second chance for someone to be stupid.
Yes. All right.
It's like I didn't let you do it.
Karth, let me be stupid. Yeah.
There you go.
Gappy question: are we going to burn Aldi as he must be a witch? He had the ship before everyone. He went to the future. Witchcraft. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Yes. You're Timmy to Newt.
Yeah.
Better.
I mean, yeah, it's very nice. CG now give me an exclusive launch on all the conquest, on all the Galactic Chase characters. I get them 1 PM on the day before everyone gets them. I get them like 13 hours early. Yeah. So yeah, I might just go live every time we get one. Like I say, mine's halfway through tier 6 at the moment. I'm about 45 out of 80, and yeah, it's just where you started playing the game. For some reason, it defaulted me from Cambodia into like one of the earliest slots. And it was so many people during the stream were like, how is this possible? And you're like, well, I don't know. It's always been that. It does have its pros and cons. I don't have anywhere near the time to prepare or stock up the other content creators, because they will stock up for maybe a day and a half or 2 days sometimes. And it will obviously end quicker for me. But yeah, it gives me the opportunity, I guess, to play with things much faster than everybody else. So yeah.
Well, the event goes live whenever your time zone kicks to the next date, but you won't have access to the packs until the game servers kick over to the next day.
Yeah, so you can unlock it at 4 stars or whatever and you can work out the early drop rates and stuff like that, which is what I tend to do. But it's not where you're set. So don't move your payout time. It's not set to that. It's where you started playing the game. Is specifically what it's attached to. So you can't cheese it by changing your unlock to I don't know, Japan time or something. That won't change when these will unlock for you.
It does change when you have access to the event, because the event goes live whenever your game reset happens, whenever it's the time zone for your game. So it should, because when your login calendar ticks over and stuff like that. So you'd have to change your payout time to be like 1 AM for you, and then you would circle back around. But it's not really worth it. I mean, you're not gaining any competitive advantage to doing it at all. Like, it's not like there's a GAC that starts and the event won't go live till after your GAC starts. Like, that's not how it'll function. So
yeah, it'd be purely for a content creator. Like, that's the only reason to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I do love the show.
I'm not waking up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, start filming a video. Screw that.
Let's see. Question. What else in 3? How many more teams do we need on defense in 3v3 at the Kyber 1 and 2 levels? Seems like there's too many meta teams at this point for only 15 on defense.
It's the same. In 3s, it's 15. All of Kyber is the same board.
Well, yes, he says there's too many meta teams at this point for only the 15 on.
It's way too long. I think they are causing themselves a problem again in the number of good counters they've actually launched recently. And again, this number of teams was all set before Jabba, before Dr. Afra, really before the Grand Inquisitors, and all these things came to the game. I really hope they don't just lazily increase it. We've got to change that map. They've got to be a bit more creative. I really don't want to be someone who has to stream for 8 hours to a GAC. It's already too much, honest. Yeah, we don't want more. We don't want more, but the lazy way of doing it, ECG for details, just increase the number. But I hope to God they don't. It's not a sustainable solution.
Well,
to just increase is not sustainable.
What they need to do is they need to create another division. They need to push the players that are 10 million plus out of Kyber, because we are to the point of saturation where there's no consequences or compromise that need to be made to have a ridiculous defense. And now with what the board sits at right now, you will probably be better off taking all 7 of your GLs, Malgith, Starkiller, and Afra, and then like, I don't know, CLS or Gas. You one-shot your opponent's board for damn near perfect banners for a lot of your counters. Go take all your meta stuff on fleet, and then it just becomes a banner efficiency game, because there is nothing right now that lineup cannot one-tap efficiently. So we're just going to be stuck in this point where the top end players don't have to try, because it's going to be, well, I put down 11 teams on defense. I didn't care what they were. And now I'm going to go clear their board for, between 62 and 65 banners, because I've got every hard counter available to whatever they set. So unless they do the same thing, but then you're both in the same boat of, unless they go full FU defense, then you're both in the same boat of, you're just going to clear each other, and whoever gets the higher banner count wins. Yeah. And so I think the only way to change that board at all inside of the GAC is to add more. I mean, I don't love saying this, but I think fleet should go to 4, and in 5v5 we should have 15 ground battles. And then in 3s, I don't know what you do in 3s, because 3s has that complicated thing of you run out of leaders before you run out of characters.
Yeah.
I think we talked before. I mean, I really would like a 3v3 GAC board rather than a 2v2, because I think 2v2 is so limited. I think a 3v3 similar to TW would be a much more flexible system, and then would mean they can make subtler changes. There'd be maybe 2 teams per zone. Might be good fun.
All right. Let's see here. Very raw question. We all are aware that there were rumors that Kyber will increase from 3 to 4 fleets on defense in PC. Anything it will happen this year? Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. I would be surprised if it doesn't happen the next 6 months.
Yeah, especially with the rate that they're pretty
incredibly generous.
Yeah, and that, especially with how fast we're getting ships. I mean, we had last year was the year of the ship, and we're getting the TIE Defender, and we know Zori's going to get a ship. I mean, there's going to be more ships coming in, which I like, but it's going to cause they have to expand it, where it's going to be 4 ships on defense, 4 for offense. So, yeah. Yappy question. Do you think they're trying to create an artificial division with the squishenings? I don't know what the hell they're doing with the squishenings. I've just, in JC, I just go in, win, climb, get squished. Right back just on top of, staying my head above Kyber 1, right? And at this point, I feel like it's a losing battle. I've had a winning record 5 straight GACs, and I'm still at the same point I was previously. And it just seems that, like, I just do JAC, not just do JAC. I mean, I don't know. Do you think they're trying to create like the way Ray Rock's asking this question? Like, think on this. thoughts,
I think
fellas?
they have the wrong formula, and it's eventually they'll have to address it. By then it'll be like really bad.
I mean, they can immediately address a TIE defender. But the machine in the machine in the corner that's doing the squishing, oh god, we don't know how to touch that. We'll leave that
I don't
running.
think they know how to.
But I mean, come on, like somebody there must have the key. It's like, honestly, just switch it off. I think it's a joke now. I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I do think they're happy that they're squishing Kyber 1 down. And because I think Kyber 1 at 12,000 was too many. So I think they're kind of relatively happy with what it's doing. But and I do think there has to be more subdivisions inside the Kyber 1. Because it's a different game in the top 200 than it is in the top 1,000, is in the top, it's striates very much inside those spaces. So I think we should give them Kyber 1A, Kyber 1B, Kyber 1C, and adjust rewards, because I think there's a lot of people in Kyber 1 who are languishing at the bottom of Kyber 1 because life is easier and there's no pressure to do datacrons. And those people are getting the same number of crystals as the people at the top of Kyber 1. I mean, obviously the legend that is Sir Loki hung about at the bottom of Kyber 1 for a while and just kind of freewheeled. But you get the same for a win. So I think they need to alter that. I think they need to change things. I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but I don't think they're unhappy with it.
The thing I've heard about it is that when they adjusted GAC from a 5-week setup to a 4-week setup, they didn't change the skill squishing or between that change. Yeah. So you were supposed to have another 3 battles to impact your overall run.
Yeah.
And now you don't, you've lost them. So, going net positive is a 5-4, but in the old system, going a net positive was a 7-5. So, you had a little bit more going on there, and you had a chance to kind of bounce back after either climbing too high or have a consistent climb of, 2 and 1 every week or whatever else. But I mean,
I don't think that's it. Like, we've been seeing the skill squishing make Kyber 1 drastically smaller even before that was happening. And that wasn't even the amount of points. The logic really isn't there for that either. Like, if you can you should be able to balance it out within the first 9. And even if you don't, you have the next season to do it again. And we just have people, like Ranger said, consistently going positive, where they should eventually equal it back out. Where it's not, it's consistently still going down.
Well, yeah, because right now that's because to go positive inside of Kyber, if you are floating between the 2 divisions, is you need to be going 8 and 1.
Yeah.
Because you
7 and 2
are losing. You are losing effectively about 4 wins with every squish. So if you don't net that, in addition to not like, you have to net that in addition to whatever your win loss is. So it's like you have to have 4 additional wins on top of, 3 losses. So like if you can't go better than like 7 and 2, you're always going to be tracking downwards. I mean,
I went 6 and 3
only reason
back to back, and then I went and I lost rank. It was like I give up.
Yeah.
It's like,
so you just can't make enough headway without having just stellar records, or being in a position where I'm at, where I was already towards the top end of Kyber 1. So you getting squished at 100 points, I'm not having to try as hard to keep out of falling. But I mean, I'm progressively making my way down the ladder as we go forward, because it's just going to be what it is. You're going to eventually get it to where the top 100 in Kyber 1 is going to be only 100 points away from the skill difference, because they're just going to keep pushing it further and further down. I mean, you look how much the top 50 in GAC spreads, from 400 and 4,300 points to, just over 4,000, and that's the top 50. That's a massive range. And then you have literally the rest of Kyber is between 4,000 and 3,610. So, it's I agree, Calvin. I don't think that's it either. That's what I was hearing behind it. But there's just a lot of weird that goes on with that, and the only reason I can see them letting it keep going is what they want to do is just force everyone besides the cream of the crop out of Kyber, and then basically take Kyber 1 to its own division, and then they'll get less blowback on, well, you pushed me out or you dragged me into a division I can't compete in because this is Kraken territory. It's like, well, you're already out of Kyber 1, so what's it matter? You know, they're just going to take the top 1,000 players and say, okay, well, you guys get automatically placed here. Everybody else has to fight in.
Meow says, you're going the wrong way, Karth. Climb up. Fight the cat.
I'm pretty close, Cat. We're only about 20 positions, but I mean, that's still like 100 points difference.
But basically, CG has managed to turn this into some Sisyphean task where we're walking up and down escalator. I mean, how can you get it that badly wrong with a game whereby you can't even get your squishing and your league tables right? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, it is absolutely nuts. It is absolutely nuts. I think honestly, hopefully they can find the key to that computer and they can unlock it, and then somebody's got the password. Somebody's got the password.
Yeah, what is it?
Who's got the password?
I honestly think they watched too many infomercials in the 90s. Just set it and forget it.
Yeah. Walk away.
Yeah.
Don't touch that. It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It is actually, actually, it's quite embarrassing that they don't even have control of their own squishing. And I do think it's great that they've handed the whole over to some chat AI bot, and it's just going, oh yeah, I'm doing this now. I'm going to optimize your game for you, and they're now locked out of the office. It's great.
Jesus. Oh God. Nice infomercials. Sorry, they made me chuckle. LBC, one of the reasons I'm mostly a free-to-play player is every time I spent money on this game, I thought to myself, I should have just waited 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is. I'm very particular about like what I spend in this game now. Like, I do not get character shards at all. I just don't see the point. And we've talked about this, that it's actually more efficient to wait till it goes into, if you're going to use crystals, to wait for it to go into the store and farm it that way than it is to spend $300 or more, with those ridiculous Swevin packs and stuff. It's just like, you start seeing certain trends in what they do. And then, don't get me wrong, there are some really good packs out there. And if you've got the discretionary income and you enjoy doing that, then by all means spend. But be smart about, just because you can buy something doesn't mean you should buy something, especially if it's trash. There are some trash packs out there. There's also some really fantastic packs that I recommend to people. The one for Conquest, the new one, that $4.99 one for the 100 burritos and 300 energy for GL tickets. I think that is an amazing pack. There's some packs like that are out there that I'm like, yeah, like the Galactic whatever one, where you get all that crazy energy, for $9.99 or $14.99. You get that crazy amount of energy and all that gear and stuff. You got the discretionary income. That's a great purchase. That's a really good value for what that pack has. So, but just be smart about it.
I think they really have down-valued spending on the game. Like, really, there isn't the pressure there used to be. The fear of missing out is significantly lower, and I think because they've spammed so much new stuff, I think it really has made people, maybe not at the very top of the tree, but in that middle pack, you're like, okay, I'm going for Jabba, I'll get there, then I'll go for Afra, but there isn't this kind of, oh my God, I've got to get it now because of this or that, because there's so much going on. Which is quite good. So yeah, a lot of people I know are just kind of, well, I'm not spending anymore. I'm just enjoying where I am.
Well, that's 100% due to Squad Arena getting yeeted.
Yeah.
Because you don't need every meta shift day one to keep up on your crystals.
Yeah.
Because there has not been a character or squad they've released that didn't have some sort of counter in the last year and a half. I think the last time that really happened was when JMK Cat came into the game. It was like, if you couldn't mirror it, that sucked to be you. But outside of that, we haven't had anything in game release where that team did not have a counter already existing.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen a reason to do it unless you want to be one of the ones who are like, I really want to test this team out and I'm going to go bananas on, Zori Bliss and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or I'm gonna have my Sauna squad at Bonkers Relics just to see what happens. You know.
I also think that we played this for 7 years, and because we played it for 7 years, there's always been that one character you've missed out in the past, and that didn't burn you. You kind of remember, oh, hang on, I missed out before and it wasn't a bad thing, so I'll miss out again, it won't be a bad thing, and I'll miss it again and it won't be a bad. You know, and you kind of, as long as you put the time and effort into the conquest ones, because that catch-up mechanic's terrible,
So
the
bad.
others, you just, I don't know, you just get yourself into a nice little happy space of enjoying the game, which is really cool. See, you don't need to spend.
Good morning, Whitefly. Glad to have you here. Kevin Riley says, "What's the best team with Omni Iden?" You can mix and match that one. I mean, it depends on offense or defense. Defense, I mean, there's a lot of counters out there. You're just hoping that you can steal some banners, or they goof up, or something happens.
Or you have a crappy C in the back wall that you need someone to use their Wampa on first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Snow, Shore, Stormy, and Range.
I kind of like
range in 5. If you're doing 5s, range should always go with.
Yeah, it should go with the other ones.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stark and Veers. The Iden team changes up a little bit based on 2 core things, and that's basically what do you think they're going to use to counter you. So if you know what they're going to use, that can kind of shift your thing. Because I know there was times when putting Stark with the Iden team on defense really caused some headaches because the damage, especially with high relic troopers, would just chew through Wampa in a heartbeat because he just couldn't survive the incoming fire. But, you know, with Datacrons having all this health and the protection up cron now and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of things that negate that. But for the most part, you're going to just take your leftovers and slap them underneath her. And then
my Iden's always an offense. I mean, where I am, I mean, again, it depends where you are. Where I am, I keep seeing Mon Mothra, and Iden just eats her for lunch. So, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Gear 12, baby. Wins every time.
Yep. Well, mine's now Relic 5. Mine's now Relic 5 with Iden's Relic 5. The rest of the team is Gear 12 and 11. Yeah.
All right. So get your questions in. Yeah, someone was talking about that those packs that they've been seeing me on the stream have the
targeted ones.
Yeah, the you know, the whatever, the Jawa scavenger daily deal. One of the things that we said to do, and this is just your friendly, you know, PSA, is if you haven't agreed to the EA terms that's under, if you go to, you know, your settings, you know, click the settings button. I think it's go to legal, right? And then there's an EA in-game targeting advertising. I agree to those terms, and then I got that. I don't know if that's what it is, because we have not had any communication of how they're rolling this out or what you need to do. You know, I mean, I registered for the store and I did that for the stuff in the game, and I got it. I don't know if that's going to help you guys get that, because a lot of people saying they still don't have it. I don't know if that's part of the process for you to get it sooner rather than later. I have no idea. So Jack Jones says, I have targeted ads turned on, don't get them. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. People asked, you know, if you do anything differently. That's the only thing I did, but I don't know if...
It's a weird rollout. It's a weird rollout. Again, that seems patchy. Some people have it, some people don't. We have no idea why.
It's been, I mean, the thing is, though, this has been in the game since, I want to say, like September, October.
Yeah.
So I didn't get mine until December. So they might be doing it in 3-month waves. So the next one we might see might come in March. So I don't know where they're coming at, or what they're doing. I just know that it took time for all that to kind of come together.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what. Again, I don't have any communication on it.
No one knows.
Nobody knows a damn thing about what the hell's happening.
Unknown mechanics. We'll be better to explain C-3PO's kit than actually explain why the hell we get them. I have no idea. I get them.
Yeah.
So buy them.
Good morning. Hello, Ghost Strike. Hello, Guildy. C3. We're gonna go for a little bit while longer here, unless we don't get any more questions. So if you have questions, you guys know the deal. Put your questions in the chat. Make sure you put the word question for your actual question statement. You can ask anything you like, myself or the panel, and we will give you our best answer or respond to whatever you have. Even if it's a comment, just get it in. We're getting ready to start wrapping up things here as we get to the next top of the hour. So if you want to get your question in, now is the time.
And if anyone out there does have the password to the computer, so we can get hold, we can unlock it, and we can change the squishing icon, then we'd be very grateful.
Michael H says, what's better for fleet arena defense, 4-star profundity or 7-star executrix?
Executrix.
Yeah, big time. Especially if you got the new tie ship and stuff.
We talking fleet or we talking
fleet arena defense?
Defense.
4-star
Isn't the profundity better to be than executrix?
4-star, yeah. I was thinking GAC. My brain went
If it was
there.
executor, I'd leave executor, but executrix on defense?
Oh, sorry, I meant executor.
Yeah, no, he has the executrix. Well, that's what he wrote down.
Oh, don't do that.
Profundity.
Profundity.
Profundity is a better choice.
Profundity. Profundity.
I hate the fact those two ships. That's why I refer to them as Tarkin and Piet. Because it's so annoying. You mean executor? Yeah, okay. 7-star executor for me is the better one.
Gappy says the password is mod depression for ranger. Okay, that's okay. All right.
It works for most things.
Mod depression for ranger. Damn it. Get out of here, Gappy. It's not Swevens for all. Password. Get out of here. God damn it.
Do you reckon Doja Fett took the password with him? And he effed off. He was like, I see you guys, and you can't log in anymore.
I can't do this anymore. I don't play anymore. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Executor is harder to beat on defense. So 7-star executor is the more standard kind of thing to put in. But again, we've talked a lot through the stream. All of these ships are now finding pretty solid counters if you know how to run them with some of the new ships, some of the old ships. So I don't think ship defenses are going to be able to hold anywhere like these.
Yeah, you're just hoping for RNG and ship fleets. I mean, at our level, the counters are the counters. I mean, I don't get surprised by anything. It's just a matter of what I want to use against what to be the most efficient, depending on what they placed it on defense. But but you can always still get bad RNG, and for some god-awful reason in GAC, the RNG is just horrible sometimes. So yeah, contingent question. Is there a bug in the Akbar mini-boss mission with the opponent's SRP where he doesn't stay dead ever? I don't think that's a bug. I mean, that's the mechanic, the way it's designed. Yeah. Because, they get that buff, and SRP, as long as he has a buff, can never die. So take advantage of that in Sector 3. That's an easy way to do that.
The next one, they'll change it to a blue buff.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Or they'll just eliminate him from the node. One of the two, but they'll get rid of it. I guarantee you.
So that's when you use cheese. So use GML, Jedi Knight Luke, Chupio, Oda, and what else do I need? And a non-separatist droid or something. Someone else.
I did the CLS
R2D2. R2D2 is what I did in that one. I killed.
What did I use? I used the CLS team with Chupio, right? Because that's your non-separatist droid team. I had Hermit Yoda in there. So with all those characters in there, I think you need scoundrel kills as well in that one, and like 1 or 2 fights, even though you'll lose it, you'll knock out 3 feats in there for 10 banners each and done.
So what I did was JML, Hoda, Chupio, R2D2, and Jedi Knight Luke. And if you kill everyone but the SRP comes back, and literally you can just hit auto, and Oda will keep doing Master's Training, which is what you need. R2D2 and Chupio will get you the non-separatist droid feat. And the other one is Blind, which Chupio will do as well. So
just that Blind, that was the other one. Yeah.
Blind's the other one. Just run those, and it's a total cheese, which is good. So they'll probably nerf it.
Michael
H says,
what's the best executor reinforcements? Well, it depends on what your starting lineup is. Are you going offense in the starting lineup, or are you just going standard lineup, right? If you're going standard lineup, it's always Boba Fett and IG ship. Now after
I don't like anything but bounty hunters in there. I see a lot
on
of people
defense,
put Scimitar. It dies so easy. It's just a waste.
Well, and it makes the first order counter better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if it calls anything besides IG or Boba, you're just trashing yourself.
Yeah. Now on offense, the only thing I bring in besides the 5 bounty hunters, depending on what I'm facing, I'll bring in like an Ebon Hawk if I need it. It just depends. Typically, I don't want to do that, but usually the 5 is all you need, even on offense, because you're controlling it and you're going to hit the target and you're going to get the payout. I mean, and you don't really need anything else. Just those 5 ships, you're fine. It's like profundity. Honestly, you just need the 5 ships for profundity because typically if you're getting into the 3rd or 4th reinforcement, shit went downhill. Like, you're in trouble. But even then, typically the fight's over because one of you either you've killed the AI or the AI somehow screwed you and got you. So I don't think you need more than that. Unless on offense you want to be a little safe, you can add another ship that you're controlling. On defense, I don't think we add anything on defense other than this.
For GAC defense, I go triple attacker.
Yeah, we do the same
because it's more tricky. So I would say that GAC defense should be triple attacker, but squad arena defense should be the standard houndstooth. Yeah, that's kind of how I run it.
Michael, what are you guys using for Places of Power Tier 3 challenge? I'm trying to remember. It's been so long. I went
Places
in
of Power. That's the nice sister one, man. No, you need R9 like DACA and like R7 like high relic.
Is that the DACA one? Yeah.
The one that's on today, the Jedi.
The Jedi one today.
Yeah.
Oh, today's. Oh.
Yeah. This is a cheese.
Yeah, Place of Powder, Salt Battle Jedi. Yeah, I went in there with
EP lead, and then C is a reinforce. There's some way to cheese this with EP lead.
Yeah,
you're on the right track. Yeah, it's EP lead, C, and then there's
a little bit
of versatility in the rest of them. But you can use Nihilus, Malik, and I think Bastila, Sean Fallen, or Darth Revan. There's a little bit of wiggle room after the EP lead and C, but the two of them, they just do so well because C's Deceive still comes out and still counts as a debuff, so you just get a really good train going. And then if you go into the last match, around 8 with Nihilus at 100% turn meter and annihilate Grandmaster Yoda, that's game.
It's just a long fight. I just remember even with that, and I was never in danger, but it's like, oh my god, this fight's taking forever,
And it does work without C as well. It was the old cheese Ray Rotzka there with Aldar. You don't even need C there, but C makes it even better.
To work before C. Changing mods for it.
Yeah, you don't need a GL to beat that one. Absolutely, Jack Daniels, because I think I did it without one and beat it. With the other Sith. So there's combinations that you can use. I loved having Nihilus in there because it was like, just
sped up.
Yeah, made it a little bit quicker. It's still a long fight, but it's burning that Yoda down was nice. Yeah, you can get 3 stars before you have C. If you have C with Pop Lead, yeah. If you can do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, yeah. There are teams and videos out there, but there's stuff that you can use. It's just a long fight because they have so much health protection, even non-care who you're using. You just have to sit there and grind them down, and then each fight takes forever. But once you do it and you get 3 stars, you gotta love Sim, baby, because that's all you have to do. All right, Shaka reacts this question. What sounds sweeter to you, a rotating GAC without datacrons or the sultry sweet Scottish accent of Sandfly?
I'll take Sandfly.
Yeah, I'll pick Sandfly. Yeah, GAC, kiss my ass.
Hiding Shaka. Shaka, incredible legend of the community. We love you, Shaka.
Shaka, when the walls fell.
And we love you. We love your YouTube content is incredible as well. Welcome.
Michael H. just think I just haven't put in the effort. Yeah, you just do it once, man. I mean, it's one of those things where I make the time, I do it when those things happen. The only one I haven't gone back in, the Night Sister one, no, not for a long time. Just no. The other one I don't have completed is the last tier of the Inquisitors, just because that thing's gross, man. That thing is gross. You get to that 5th or whatever battle is with all the Jedi, and it's just, I mean, I listened to poor Karth do it back to back one day, an hour and a half when he finally beat it, and his are even more higher relic than mine. I'm just like, well, let me give this a shot. Nope, I don't like this. This sucks. I made 2 attempts. Like, oh, this is stupid. You know, I just spent 15 minutes getting to that fight, and then, or 20 minutes, how long it took me to get there, and then I got destroyed. And I'm like,
Yeah, the whole fight comes down to how well do you do on the GMY part, and then how does the Maul fight open up?
yeah.
Because if it opens up with him getting quickly to burning somebody down, it just goes right to hell.
Yeah. It's so gross, man. I'm just like, okay. Someday if I get Relic 9 on them and something and I have the time and they do something, but I'm just not, it's just, I'm like, I'll take my challenge tier rewards down. I'm okay with that because the other salt ones have already got simmed up and stuff. So I'm like, that works for me. I'm good. Because sometimes you just look at those fights and you're like, gross. Oh, God. I just remember cards just listening to you going, oh, God. Like, oh, God.
Well, yeah, because it's like 20 minutes just getting through that part and then having the whole battle just go ass over tea kettle on you in like 20 minutes, like in 30 seconds of the next wave. Just like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I will just not be doing that.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I think the challenge tier 3 is like, it's a solid like 30 minutes just to get to phase 8. And then you can watch the whole thing go right out the window, right when you get into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what Fulcrum does, if Azra decides to be God tier 1 tapping like R9, freaking Ninth Sister, or yeah, the big bulky one.
Yeah,
like it just
I'd tap Ninth. Welcome. Was Shaka not on the Heinze show with you? No? No, Ranger.
Not that I
was he on the week before or week? Yeah, maybe he's on the week or two before.
No. Well, he does other streams, so he could have been on maybe the Monday. That's TJ's, and then they have.
I think it was on a grid. I'm sure it was on a Friday night. It was probably before. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Could have been. I mean, it would have been one before I started co-hosting, or I was a part of. So I don't remember. You know.
I have a question. When are we getting this this History of the Sith Part 2 on YouTube on the standard channel?
It's out there for Patreon right now.
Yeah,
so,
I can watch it. I can watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, but when does it go live on the thing?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll set it up because I always give the Patreons a couple days to look at it and enjoy it first. You know, so because they're Patreons, that's part of the deal, right? You know.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. I looked at. I was like, hang on. I saw it on there, and I'm like, I haven't seen it on here. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's in there, and you can go check it out. And this one was a ridiculous one. I'm like, they're all ridiculous, but man, they really took the cake on this one. The idiots were in full force. Let me just tell you, you guys will get it tomorrow. The rest of you, but yeah. Yeah, LBC, it'll be like 2 p.m. my time. Maybe I'll do it a little bit earlier. Yeah, I could launch it a little bit earlier. I'll set a time. You'll get a it should give a notification once I set it, and you'll see when it launches. And if you haven't watched the other ones, you have a whole playlist of, we've done 4 so far. This will be number 5. We've been getting into the Sith stuff because I'm trying.
This is part 2. This is part 2 of Sith. So you might as well go and watch part 1.
Yeah, watch that because it's all in. God, it is absolutely nuts. Like how tied in. You have to cover it if you're going to do lore, and understanding a lot of these characters and stuff. You have to cover all of them. So when you say dark side and you say Sith, you got to start from the beginning, and you got to. And it just, every character ties into the other characters. There's a history there. So, and then each of the stories, because in the first one we got all the way up through Frida and Nod, but that was an hour plus of just getting through original Sith, the Great Hyperspace War, their whole history and stuff, and then the Fallen, we got into that too. Of how the Sith Empire came into being as it was currently constructed. It leads into it. So I can't skip over that. So yeah, when I say Sith Part 1, There's part 1, and then part 2, man, you're gonna see we just cover one thing because it is so much shit. I mean, when I was telling these guys in the first video, I was like, we may have to do multiple parts on this one because, you know, you cover some of you can kind of go, like in the first video, we were able to cover different stuff because there's a lot of stuff, but you can kind of condense it in. But some of these characters, like we do Darth Bane, that's a whole show, baby. You know, you do Vitiate, that's a whole show almost. You know, because you have to get through
some of those could be like multiple shows on their own.
Yeah, you know. So if you're a Patreon, you know what we're covering this one. One of our favorite characters. Well, one of the two.
Yeah, it's the Eternal Twins.
Well, if we get to 1,500 in Patreon, then we'll cover. I will do a whole thing on. I'll do a whole thing on Valkorion and the whole family.
We never get them. We never get them. We never get it. And Jar Jar Binks. I can't believe you put Jar Jar Binks into the history of Sith. It was a very good inclusion. And I think we are with you on that. And I think everyone tomorrow, when they watch it, will be very surprised to see Jar Jar Binks in there.
Little mean with that turd. All right, last question from Michael H. Question: are any of the new tunes viable at Gear 11? Zori at 11, is she viable? Let me think.
She is, but the problem is like,
Thank you, Whitefly.
it's the issue of like, in what division are we talking about, right? Because
yeah, that's a huge thing.
In Kyber, you might get away with it offensively, like chucking under a ray and triggering the quick like back-to-back turns for like a really fast whirlwind. But at the same time, I don't think she brings enough in her kit uniquely to offset a Datacron. So if you're in a division where Datacrons aren't a big thing, they have more viability. But in the end game, Kyber, you know, upper Kyber 2, Kyber 1, even most of Kyber, I'd probably say, you're not going to really move the needle. Because they just, what they bring doesn't offset usually what Datacrons are doing into the game for the upper division stuff. There are no Datacrons. There are some unique. Zori's going to be fun to play with because she starts stealth. You know, she can't get targeted out the gate, so it gives you an opportunity to use her. The advantage of support characters, they usually have low star viability. I don't know if we're talking about more than just Zori if you want to go back through all the Afra characters, but Zori herself has got but very limited.
They haven't, yeah. I think unlike the Star Killer launch, the ones you've done recently are nowhere near as good. They're just not as good. But like you say, it depends exactly what you mean by how new and how far back new goes. But yeah, they're nowhere near as good.
No, because Hondo, to do Hondo things, needs high relics. Same thing with the droids. You know, the 000 doesn't need to be anywhere special because of what his kit does, but like BT1 wants to be relics because his damage is just insane at that level. But it's kind of the standard motif for a lot of the stuff that CG puts in the game. Usually supports have low star, low gear viability. Attackers, not so much, and tanks are a definite no. You know, because the attackers, it depends on what else their kit brings besides just damage. Some of them do have enough support characteristics where they can go back and forth. But like Kyle is an attacker, but his kit gives a turn meter, so you get the ball running, right? So there's some of them that did work. Like a lot of the Star Killer ones did work at low star, low gear viability, but the Afra ones, not really. Sana's not really doing anything crazy good because she needs to survive for the team to be doing its thing.
Yeah.
So if she can just be sneezed on and killed at gear 11, then it's not really going to do any good. So
at the moment, it's this TIE Defender, but they will probably work on that and fix that. But
yeah, don't be shocked.
But yeah, but none of it.
LBC says, I want to check it all. Please understand I have about 6 people who want me to join their Patreon. Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about becoming a Patreon. I mean, if you want to, the thing you get for Patreon is that you get your own channels in Discord, and I'm in there a lot. You can directly message me there. You get input on the lore video. I tag them a lot and say, give me some, these are what we're looking on. What are you guys interested in? Also, I get feedback. You're more than welcome to leave comments on the video first. you get the videos first, and you can leave comments about like what you think about it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's all.
Please don't add a comment about the omission of Sith Jar Jar Binks. That is not going down well.
I'm going to kill you all this.
I'm just saying. You've omitted it from the whole lore series so far.
We're going in order. We haven't even got to his timeline yet, man. Can't talk about
Darth
it.
Jar Jar spans all timelines.
No, that's wrong. Yeah, very wrong.
But
yeah,
you give me some good fodder for the next episode.
But yeah, so and we hang out on VIP chat like on Fridays. Any VIP is welcome to come hang out when I'm doing happy hour, whether we're doing JC and stuff and just bullshit and drink and have fun. That's all that, when I'm doing SWGOH content during the week, the lunch stream, you get a mini roster review whenever you need it. If you're like a $50 platinum, I do remod sessions, so yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there. Now, Desi, don't encourage them. Desi,
well, maybe I'll do it and I'll put it on my channel. I'll do like,
you do that, Aldous. Yeah, you do that, buddy. Yeah,
like an accompanying series, but no, but yeah, the lore videos are out tomorrow, so please like.
Yeah, but LBC, you can go look at all that content right now. Yeah, there's very good. The lore series is a playlist on YouTube. You don't have to be a Patreon to get it. You just have to wait to get the next one. They get it earlier, but you can wait till I launch it, and then everybody gets it, right? Yeah. But there's others playlists, like we've been doing the Old Republic game. So there's the Old Republic with the boys that we currently got going on. That you can go check that out. That's just me, Ram, BCM, and Karth just having fun doing the Old Republic. I'm really enjoying that, Karth. We were having a lot of fun doing that and leveling these characters.
I mean, we just spent a lot more time talking shit to each other while Ranger gets lost, trying to find his way to every objective. And then go from there. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And some of the stories are pretty interesting, but it's kind of hard to get all of them at the same time because of course of how the game works, and availability of everybody. But the overall, I mean, it's gives you a good glimpse of what's going on with the game, and then you get a lot of the smack talking that goes on in between.
Plus, there's some lore stuff in there. There's been a couple things where it's like, people are in the watching and like, wait, what is this? Oh, those are, that's the Rakata. Who the hell the Rakata? Oh boy, let's get into that one. LBC says Jar Jar is one of the mistakes with the prequels. A lot of people say bad things about them. I think they were misunderstood. Yeah, Calvin's a big supporter of the prequels. I
like them.
Yeah, I mean, my second or third favorite Star Wars movie is actually Revenge of the Sith. I absolutely adore that movie. With Rogue One and Empire being top two, that's top tier. Mwah! But I cannot watch I cannot watch Attack of the Clones. It's unwatchable for me. I just can't stand that movie. Phantom Menace, there are parts that I really enjoyed in Phantom Menace. I mean, Duel of the Fates comes on, I hear that music, and I'm just literally, my head goes, sit down, watch this. I can watch it over and over and over again. It is so good. But yeah, we talked about this. We'll wrap up with this. These movies affect people generationally, right? For me, being the age I am, the original trilogy has a certain place in my heart. But I'm pretty open with my things. When Rogue One came out, that immediately, Rogue One hit me in the feels like no other Star Wars movie had. I just enjoyed Empire because it's such a great movie and I think it's brilliant. But the feels I got from Rogue One, was just tremendous. But the generational stuff, like if you're a young person when the prequels came out, those movies they hit differently, right? So certain times when certain things they hit for a reason, and you just have that nostalgia, and you just remember all the good things, and you just enjoy it. And everything, I'll say that art is subjective. If you love the prequels or you love the sequels, then I don't have any hate towards you. I like certain movies the way I do, but it's art. You like what you like. You see things through your own eyes and what you understand and how it makes you feel. So, Calvin loves Phantom Menace.
Heck yeah, man.
Loves it. And I'm okay with that.
I like Phantom Menace too.
Duel of the Fates, my God. Every time I hear that, call on, I'm like, ah!
I don't like Revenge of the Sith. I don't like the third one.
I adore Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that fight between Anakin and Kenobi, man. I quote that movie so many times. God Almighty, do I quote this shit out of
I didn't like it because we just knew where it was going. It's like this entire film that is built around one single scene.
I know, but it was so epic, You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. It's like, you know.
Yeah, but
It's
as opposed to, I call it aggressive negotiation. I mean,
okay, you just talking shite, man. Get out of here.
Padme in the middle of that is awful. That bit. Okay, anyway.
God
Move on.
almighty.
Well, yeah, that was a lot of Attack of the Clones got just ruined by dialogue and pacing.
Oh, so bad.
Like overall, I think the Clone Wars era is my favorite in all of Star Wars. I just love.
Well, yeah, Clone Wars, this animated series is just.
Well, yeah, and that's why I like the Attack of the Clones movie, because it leads into that and it's full scale, like an era I really enjoy. But I won't sit here and tell you that Attack of the Clones is the best Star Wars movie ever made, but like I don't have much to say negative about it because I just don't care about the faux pas in between. But I mean, again, it's like you said, it depends on when people got introduced to it. Yeah. I saw Attack of the Clones when I was like, oh god, 12. Yeah. So like I'm not sitting there questioning the dialogue of Anakin and Padme. I'm just like, can we get back to the action?
I will say, Yoda whipping out that lightsaber and Attack the Clones, man. I was literally climbing into my seat when I watched it in the theater. I was like, oh my god! You know, like we were all squealing. Like, get out of here.
When he pulls out, it's good. Then when he does the weird flippy floppy thing, you're like, hang on, this seems a bit strange now.
You turned her against me. You have done that yourself. Your lust for power has allowed this dark lord to twist your mind. You become the very thing you swore to defeat. I love it. I just think Hugh McGregor in that is absolutely phenomenal in Revenge of the Sith. God almighty. God, he's
Ray Rock, does it hurt your feelings to know that clones aren't stormtroopers?
Yeah.
That they actually phase them out entirely?
Well, get rid of them? I do like in the Bad Batch season that's going on, it's not much of a spoiler, but you're seeing that transition from the clone army into what the Empire will become, right? And they've done a good job of that. I mean, Bad Batch has been very much. There's some hope there I have for where this could go with where the Bad Batch is going to go. And they've been contained episodes, but there's been some characters, but it's been very fillery. You know, it really has been. I mean, they've hinted at some things, and I know Filoni's building up, so I'm waiting. You know, because I know he's going to drop something on my ass.
Yeah, Bad Batch overall, what they are doing with Bad Batch is building the bridge between the timelines that are going to take place between episode 3 and episode 4. And they're just trying to run something of continuity between the 2 points. And that's why Bad Batch from season 1, even season 2, kind of just seems like a lot of filler. It's because they're just putting dots on the map. And then as we move forward, we kind of see how things will start to roll from one to the next and into these other things that they want to open up to and explain as the time goes on.
A lot of character building in these ones because
you get the world build around it, because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, episode 3 was phenomenal because you had Cody and you had Crosshair. Yeah, God, it was so good. I mean, that the interaction between those two and what they talk about and go through, and you see some of the stuff that the clones are going through with this transition, and it was good. But I mean, those are few and far between. So again, I got to look at the totality of what Bad Batch is doing, and you're 100% right, Car. So until we see the whole thing, because people are like, I can't, it's boring. It is, but I mean, I think.
Have you ever watched the first 2 seasons of the original Clone Wars?
There's some bad filler in that.
That is awful.
They're very slow. They're very very slow.
Well, and because it had the same issue as other cartoons during the time, as the pacing was weird, and you know, until you get to like season 3 or 4 when they actually start doing arcs and like 3-story arcs or 2, you know, you had very little one-offs going in between, and they actually had a timeline that was. I think if you take the first 3 seasons of Clone Wars, they are not in chronological or whatever. They're not in order on timeline.
No,
they're all over the place. So there's actually a watch list that someone created for Clone Wars, and basically it takes like the first 3 seasons of Clone Wars and reorders the entire episodes so that you're watching them as they actually took place during the time. And then things start to make more sense, because the problem with the original Clone Wars series is they did a bunch of one-off stories and didn't think it was going to continue into this long production thing that they had. And so then they were like, oh, well, we've used this information, we'll keep telling the story, but you pick up that story like 2-3 seasons later. And so you're having to go back and go, okay, wait, what happened? Why did this happen? Weren't these guys just killed? Now they're alive again. What just happened? It's just a lot of things like that happen in Clone Wars series. But I mean, Bad Batch is kind of going through that growing pains too. They have to world build around them, and then they can start telling a story, because again, it's the downside of the time frame they're telling the story in.
Yeah.
You're telling a time story that has the guardrails up. You cannot impact what happens in episode 4. So you can't be such a massive event that it's like, well, how did this ever get off the ground if, you know, this was blown up or this was destroyed or whatever else? I mean, there's just so many other things that go on with these different places that you have to kind of, like, what is the tightrope they had to walk with Kenobi. You had to be careful on not to get too crazy, because then it's like, how would they have not known? Like, it's like you got to be careful, and that's what it comes down to. So they're going to try to build away from the storyline we know and set up a world where they can act without having a massive impact on the effects of what leads into episode 4. So they're trying. It's just a line you have to toe.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. All right, good discussions, good stuff. This is the end of the show. This is this show that no, we're gonna end it. So what we're gonna do now is allow these awesome folks to pimp their stuff. Please go visit their sites. Do me a huge favor. I mean, these guys come here to, you know, answer your questions and help you with your Star Wars content. Simplest thing you can do: stop on their channel, give them a video, watch their videos, give them a thumbs up. Even if you just have it in the player, you know, Calvin's got lots of stuff going on. Aldous has lots of stuff going on. Find something you like there. Just support something, you know, and that's the easiest way to say thank you for all the stuff that these guys are doing. I mean, you want to help a content creator, that's the easiest thing you can do. Just hit the thumbs up on a video, leave comments, subscribe. That's it. It really does make a difference. So with that being said, let's let these awesome folks pimp their stuff. Calvin, awesome. Where can folks check out your great content?
Yep. If you guys like podcasts, I do a podcast, The Mad Awesome Show, on Spotify and iTunes with Tilo Mad. If you like Twitch, we stream our GAC sessions every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or if you just want to watch some YouTube videos, you can find us at Calvin Awesome on YouTube. We're currently kind of reviewing the Trey Omicron, as well as doing some fun mod shaming of Iden Versio.
Mm-hmm. All right, Aldous Sandfly, the biggest sandfly on the beach.
Well, if you're awake very, very late, you will join me on Twitch. Welcome to Sandflies. I tend to come after Xaereth. I think I'm referred to as the person who swears after Xaereth. Welcome to Sandflies on Twitch. We are a light-hearted but incredible group of people on the island who know all the cheeses, all the metas, and they are incredibly good. And YouTube is where we put some of the lighter-hearted stuff. So if you want to laugh, if you want to laugh at this game, you want to enjoy the game, and not get too serious, then join us on YouTube as well. But yeah, welcome to Sandflies.
There you go.
How day. And join Death Star Port Designers as well, which is my guild, and now Calvin's guild as well. We've broken the internet.
Been a great chat. All right, and if you're watching this, you can check out me and Karth doing all kinds of stuff. We do the lore video together. We do the Old Republic game. Oh God, we do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
we do a lot of stuff. I mean,
we do a lot of stuff, and then I kind of bounce around on Twitch. I help with Ram some days on his GACs, and then I hang out with Scribe every once in a while, and kind of bounce around all over the road depending on what my availability is. At some point I might actually try to stream my own shit, but I can't be asked the moment. My impatience for GAC will override my ability to stream it for the moment. I get way too like, GAC's live at 2:00 in the afternoon my time, and I'm like, the second I'm off work, I am beating the crap out of this fool. And you know, that doesn't do well for streaming, because at 7:00 I'd have nothing to show you guys.
I should also say in like a week's time I will be a wizard. Look, I have wizard hat. I will be doing Harry Potter. Harry Potter. I am Scottish.
You're a wizard.
Like literally Hogwarts is in Glasgow. I will be going to Hogwarts. We'll be playing the Hogwarts game. Enjoy me as I become a wizard. That's not a Sith wizard. I'll be a Sith wizard. I'll be a bad wizard. I'll be killing everyone that moves. Literally, I'm cursing everyone.
Yeah,
okay,
remember,
anyway,
remember, Sandfly. It's Leviosa. Leviosa. Don't fuck
Leviosa. Hey, I'm doing the Abracadabra on everyone.
Ron,
like
stop.
literally, everyone, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Oh, you're gonna mess that up. You're gonna be like, did you say the words? Yeah, I said the words. Sort of.
I have a wand and a hat.
Yeah, he's gonna go abracadabra. Like, it's not killing. I don't understand why this isn't working.
Die.
Where's Solve Voldemort? Do this. It doesn't make sense. Stupid magic. All right.
I'm gonna kill them all.
I'm going to be chilling the rest of the weekend. We'll get the lore video out for the rest of you guys tomorrow. I was a little bit late with this week just because we had that big long stream and stuff like that. So check it out. The content's there on the channels for all that stuff. The lore series, the Old Republic, that's just for something you guys can go watch when you need something to watch. And if you want to learn something, lore series with the idiots is fantastic because they are really dumb. They really are. They say the most outrageous crap during that. Hear me losing my mind. So it's all there. You can go back and listen to it and again support these other guys. With that, we're gonna get out of here. So I will see you guys on Monday. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my weekend and recover from the trauma from last night because I didn't sleep very well. Oh God, I never do. And then the worms and all that. Everyone have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Look out for one another. May the force be with you.